My sister destroyed my relationship out of jealousy, so I made her watch the man she wanted fall for me. So, here's the scoop on my little sister Mia. Ever since she hit 21, she's been using the same lame excuse to mess with other people's happiness. And no, it's not a cute, still obsessed with her ex kind of deal. It's more like, if you're happy, she'll find a way to make you miserable, all because she's hung up on some supposed true love. That love is a guy named Ethan she hooked up with at a college party 4 years ago. They had a one-night stand, he ghosted her, and suddenly it's her tragic origin story for being a total wrecking ball. It all started with her childhood best friend, Jess. Mia crashed at her place one weekend, and by Monday morning, Jess's boyfriend was texting Mia sweet nothings. When Jess caught them in her bed, Mia actually had the nerve to say, "You don't understand what it's like to lose your soulmate." Needless to say, Jess cut her off completely. And then there was our cousin's engagement party. Mia showed up in this ridiculously expensive dress, got super wine drunk, and somehow lured the groom into the bathroom, claiming he reminded her of someone special. Thankfully, he was smart enough to push her away and tell his fiancée immediately. But what did Mia do? She cried to our parents about how seeing happy couples triggered her, and of course, Mom sent her on a nice spa weekend to recover. Fast forward to when I met Ryan. I was already wise to Mia's antics, so I kept him away from family events and made sure he knew she was going through something. It worked for a while. We got engaged, planned a simple ceremony, and everything was chill until I casually mentioned it at Mom's birthday dinner. Mia's eyes lit up like Christmas had come early, and she couldn't wait to meet him. A week later, Ryan showed me this hilarious Instagram DM from a fake account. It was Mia trying to rope him into her drama. We laughed it off, and Ryan blocked her. But just 3 weeks before our wedding, when I had the flu and Ryan was supposedly at a golf tournament, my friend spotted his car near Mia's place. I showed up, sick as a dog, and let myself in. There they were, snuggled on the couch, looking guilty as sin. Mia hit me with her fake tears and whispered, "I'm so sorry. He just reminds me so much of Ethan." And Ryan? He didn't even try to patch things up. That's when I decided Mia needed a taste of her own medicine. I reached out to Ethan, the infamous one-night stand. Turns out we've been Instagram buddies for years. After filling him in on the situation, he was all in on the plan. Apparently, Mia had even driven to his hometown and spun some wild tale to his mom about how they were star-crossed lovers. His mom bought it and invited her over for tea, and Mia took selfies with her as the future mother-in-law. Ethan and I plotted our revenge. He agreed to come with me to a family gathering, holding hands and acting all lovey-dovey. When Mia saw us, her face was priceless. She tried playing it cool, but it was obvious she was spiraling. During lunch, she tried bringing up fake college memories with Ethan, but he just kept his eyes on me, calling me love and being all adorable. It drove her nuts. Eventually, she lost it, locked herself in the bathroom, and I followed her. She was all, "This is just to hurt me," and I was like, "Nope, this is justice." She had a meltdown, and I walked out with my chin up. Of course, Mom called the next day, trying to guilt-trip me about how fragile Mia is, but I wasn't having it. Mia had wrecked my engagement, and no way was I going to let her off the hook. It hit me then. No one was going to stand up for me. Everyone treated Mia like a delicate flower, forgetting she's got some pretty sharp thorns. She always had those sharp claws, but now she was using them on herself. So, on Monday, while Ethan was still around, I thought it'd be fun to take him out for brunch with some of my friends, the ones who knew all about Mia's antics since high school. Ethan was a total charmer, polite, gentle, and totally into me. The girls exchanged looks, clearly impressed. Some even whispered things like, "This revenge is just too perfect." But the highlight came later that afternoon when Ethan posted a cute pic of us hugging in a park on Instagram with the simple caption, "Sometimes love shows up when you least expect it." At first, the comments were all hearts from family and old classmates. Then Mia jumped in with, "This is disgusting. You know what he means to me." Ethan coolly replied, "We hooked up once, Mia. Once. And you followed me down the street the next day. That's not love. It's obsession." Boom. Soon, the post was the talk of our circles. People started chiming in, saying things like, "Finally, someone said it. I always thought the way she talked about him was weird. Karma's a thing." Mia stayed quiet on the post, but sent me a storm of voice messages on WhatsApp, crying, yelling, and accusing me of ruining her life for revenge. I just texted back, "No, I'm just showing how to rebuild after you've been torn down. Something you never figured out." Then I blocked her, but I knew she wouldn't let it go. Sure enough, Thursday night, Mia posted a tearful selfie on Instagram with a melodramatic caption about her sister stealing her love and everyone applauding her pain. Tons of likes and supportive comments rolled in, and even some of my friends shared it. The next morning, I decided to confront everyone, so I went to my parents' place. Mom was surprised to see me, but I went right in. Dad was in the living room, and Mia came down looking like she was ready for a funeral. "What happened?" she asked sweetly. "Something did. Enough of you manipulating everyone and playing the victim." I told my parents about the whole deal with Mia seducing Ryan, and I laid out how the tables have turned. Mia stayed silent, crying, while Dad just looked down. I was done being the overlooked daughter while she put on her shows. It's my turn now, and people are finally on my side. I left without waiting for a response. In the car, Ethan was waiting with the radio on and a coffee ready for me. "How did it go?" he asked. "It was great," I said. "She finally saw she's not in control anymore." He grinned and said, "Honestly, getting back at her was more therapeutic than I thought." "Yeah, and the best part? There's more to come." Part 2 kicked off with an invite to my friend Andre's new restaurant launch. Mia was all about these kinds of events, but she wasn't on the list this time. I was, and so was Ethan. When we arrived, the entrance photographer snapped our picture, and it ended up on a city events page with the caption, "Couple of the Moment." The next day, Mia saw it and posted some cryptic story about people needing the spotlight to feel alive. But really, who was she kidding? She threw herself at my fiancé just a few weeks before our wedding and was now sulking because I was with Ethan. Then came Saturday, our cousin Amanda's wedding. Mia and Amanda were close, but Amanda told me to come with Ethan anyway. Mia was there, looking perfect, but clearly alone as we walked in. Ethan was being all sweet, and Mia just had to watch. But during the bride and groom dance, things got interesting. Amanda pulled us up to the dance floor. As we danced, Mia tried to approach Ethan, but he brushed her off. "No, I'm busy loving your sister," he said, and I added that I'm finally being truly loved. Something Mia never got because she confused attention with love. She backed off, and no one even noticed. The highlight came a few weeks later when I shared our story on a podcast about moving on and starting fresh. It went viral, and people from all over resonated with it. Mia heard it and messaged me asking if I needed to expose myself just for applause. I simply said it wasn't exposure, it was freedom. She never replied. Soon I heard that Mia was pulling back from social media, and brands were cutting ties with her. Her image, which she worked hard to craft, was unraveling, but it wasn't because of me. She did it to herself. Ethan and I kept going strong. He became a real partner, not just part of the revenge plan. On an ordinary morning, I realized I wasn't thinking about Ryan anymore. Ethan was in the kitchen, making pancakes, humming a 2000s song, and doing silly dances. I was chuckling to myself, realizing that Ryan had become just a faint memory, tucked away in a dusty corner of my mind. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about how Ethan held my hand, even when he didn't have to, and how he listened to my childhood stories with a genuine smile, even though he'd heard them all before. It was the way he watched me read on the couch, like I was all he needed in the world. I never saw this coming. When I messaged him on a whim to help me shatter my sister's fantasy, I thought it would be temporary. To fake it till Mia gave up, I'd feel avenged, and life would go back to normal. But it didn't. Ethan became my regular, my comfort zone. He met my friends, became part of my work life, and started leaving bits of himself at my place, like toothbrushes and t-shirts. When my car broke down, he was the first there, coffee and tow truck in tow. During my pre-presentation anxiety meltdowns, he'd just sit with me on the kitchen floor in silence, holding my hand until I could breathe again. And Ryan? He didn't even cross my mind. He was irrelevant now because Ethan was there, even on the most ordinary days. Ryan was all about future promises, but Ethan was real and present. One night, Ethan and I went to this new restaurant in town. Nothing fancy, just good vibes and food. As we sat down, Ethan held my hand and in his usual light tone said, "Isn't it funny? We started this to fool your sister, but I was never pretending." I paused, my heart doing a little dance. "I'm not pretending anymore either," I replied with a shy smile. He laughed and raised his wine glass. "To the best revenge, then?" "No," I corrected. "To what comes after." We toasted, and for the first time in forever, I felt peace. No resentment, no ghosts, no need for validation. I was there for me, and so was he. A few days later, walking downtown, I spotted Ryan, head down, looking like the world was on his shoulders. I automatically looked away, not from pain, but because it just didn't matter anymore. He saw me, hesitated, almost approached, but backed off when he saw Ethan walking up and taking my hand. Maybe he finally got that his place had been taken by someone who, without making grand promises, had given me everything. That night, I hugged Ethan tighter and whispered, "Thanks for showing up." He gave me that calm smile that said it all, even without words. Yeah, revenge gave me justice, but it was the aftermath that brought love into my life. As months went by, what started as a sharp comeback to my sister's antics became the sweetest part of my life. Ethan was no longer just a plan. He was home, my partner in quiet moments and laughter. We spent almost every night together, sometimes at my place, sometimes at his, where his golden retriever insisted on sleeping between us, like some loyal guardian of our story. He made it official one laid-back night on the couch, eating pizza straight from the box and watching a silly marine life documentary. "Think it's too early for this?" he asked, balancing the pizza box on his lap with a cheeky smile. "Or too late? We've already been through worse than most couples in 20 years. I laughed. "It's just a title. But yes, I want to." And that was that. We stopped talking about Mia. She vanished from conversations, social media, everything. She blocked Ethan too, even though he never reached out. She told everyone she couldn't forgive me, that I stole the love of her life just to flaunt what she couldn't have. She never admitted to ruining my wedding, but you know what? I didn't care anymore. At first, I thought I would, that I'd stew over her not owning up or apologizing. But letting go of wanting Mia's approval was the best gift from that whole chaotic time. She didn't forgive me, skipped my birthday, ignored my mom's Christmas messages. She stayed distant, hurt, and angry. And me? I moved on. I traveled with Ethan, met his mom officially, helped paint the new clinic's walls, dealt with the chaotic dog, all while building up an routine that was genuine, free of masks or games. One day, as we laid in a hammock, listening to the wind and the birds, Ethan asked, Do you still think all this was just revenge? For a moment, I smiled at him. Maybe it started that way, but it ended up being the best thing I ever did for myself. He kissed my forehead, and we stayed silent. Revenge became love. And ironically, that's probably what stung Mia the most. She always wanted to be the star, the most beautiful, the most wanted, under the spotlight. But it was away from her script that I found what she pretended to have all her life. I was never the family star, never the most adored, never the perfect sibling. But I was the only one who knew how to turn pain into strength, rejection into freedom, and revenge into love. And that's something no one can ever take from me. 6 months later, just when I thought all the stormy clouds had cleared, I got an unexpected call. It was Ryan. I ignored it the first couple of times. On the third, Ethan was with me and said, "Go ahead, answer it. You need to close this chapter." "Hello," I said, keeping my voice as neutral as possible. "Melissa, it's me." He sounded worn out, defeated. "Can I talk to you in person?" I considered hanging up, but Ethan was right. This needed closure. We agreed to meet at a neutral cafe, far from any place that held our memories. When I arrived, he was already there, looking disheveled with tired eyes, like he had aged years in just a few months. "Thanks for coming," he mumbled, avoiding eye contact. "What do you want, Ryan?" He took a deep breath. I wanted to say sorry. "Really?" I asked. "And explain." "Explain what? That you were holding hands with my sister 3 weeks before our wedding?" "It wasn't like that," he murmured. "She came to me when you were sick. Said she needed to talk about something important, about you. There were things from your past she said I needed to know before marrying you." A knot formed in my stomach. Classic Mia. And you believed her. Did she bring proof, or just things made to look like it? He finally looked at me. I got scared, confused. "She said you ruined some girl's life in high school, that you were vindictive, manipulative. She showed old messages, twisted things." I stayed silent, absorbing his words. "That's why you slept with her?" I asked. "No." He shook his head desperately. "She said she'd loved me since we met but didn't speak up because she respected you. If I called off the wedding, she'd be there for me. I was drinking, confused by everything she'd told me about you." "Ryan," I cut in, "none of that justifies your actions." "I know." Tears welled up in his eyes. 5 minutes after you left, I realized she'd manipulated me, lied, that I'd destroyed the best thing in my life because of her. I remained silent for a while. "You know what hurts me the most, Ryan?" I finally said, "It's not even what you did. It's that you didn't trust me. After 2 years together, you believed her words over mine." More than who I really was. His head dropped, and I was desperately trying to call you, like 1,000 times afterward. I even swung by your place, but you were never around. Then I saw the photos of you with him, and it just clicked. It was too late. "But honestly, it was over the second you touched her hair," I said, standing up. "But hey, thanks for laying it all out there. It helps me feel good about the decision I made." He gave me one last look and asked, "Are you happy with him?" I smiled, genuinely happy for once during the whole chat, and replied, "Happier than I ever thought I could be." I walked away. No hard feelings, just knowing that sometimes you gotta close one door for another to fully open. Talking with my family was another story. It took 3 months before my mom called, wanting to chat. She suggested lunch, just the two of us, to patch things up. When I saw her, she seemed different, older, more worn out, with deeper lines around her eyes. "How are you?" she asked, a bit unsure. "Good, Mom. Really good. And Ethan's good, too. We're both doing great." She nodded, fiddling with her napkin nervously. "I need to apologize to you," she finally said. "For all the years I didn't see things clearly." My chest tightened. "Mom, No. Let me talk, she insisted, looking at me directly for the first time. I always knew Mia was difficult. I thought if I just gave her more attention, protected her more, she'd change. But instead, I neglected you, leaving you to deal with the fallout from her issues alone. Tears started streaming down my face. After you confronted us that day, things began to click. The friends Mia lost, the boyfriends who just vanished, the stories that didn't match up. I realized you two gave me totally different sides of the same coin, and I always believed hers. Why? I asked, my voice barely holding up. Because she cried louder, my mom admitted with a shaky voice. You always seemed stronger, like you had it all together, so I thought you didn't need my support. We sat there quietly for a while. And now? I finally asked. How's Mia? She moved to another state. She's in therapy, says she needs a fresh start, away from all this. My mom hesitated. She asked me to tell you she knows she messed up, but she's not ready to apologize yet. I'm not ready to forgive her either, I said honestly. Maybe someday, but not now. I get it, she said, reaching out her hand. Can I try to be a better mom to you? I took her hand. We can try to be a better family. It'll take time. She smiled, tears in her eyes. I've got time. A few weeks later, my dad unexpectedly showed up at my place with flowers, looking like someone who didn't know what to say. Can I come in? He asked shyly. Of course, Dad. Ethan was in the kitchen and politely said hi before stepping out to give us space. I like him, my dad said straight up. He seems like a good guy. He is. I'm here because your mom said you talked, and it made me realize I owe you an apology. I always knew Mia was trouble, but I thought it wasn't my problem, that it was something women deal with, and your mom would handle it. But you both ended up getting hurt, especially you. Dad, no, let me finish, he said, as he sat on the edge of the couch. I failed as a father. I didn't protect you. I didn't guide Mia, right? And I didn't teach you that sisters should have each other's backs, not tear each other down. I felt a lump in my throat. Mom told me about Ryan, about what Mia did to you. If I were in your shoes, I'd probably never forgive. But you turned all that pain into something positive, and I'm really proud of you for that. Those were the words I'd been waiting my whole life to hear. Thanks, Dad. Do you think there's still time for me to be a better father? I smiled, even with tears in my eyes. There's always time. That night, I told Ethan everything. He listened, quietly holding my hand. How do you feel? He asked when I'd finished. Free? I replied, a bit surprised by my own answer. For the first time, truly free. And Mia? I thought for a second. I hope she finds her peace, away from me, but I hope she finds it. He smiled and kissed my forehead. You're amazing, you know that? We're amazing, I corrected him. And it was true, because in the end, it wasn't just about getting one over on Mia or seeking revenge. It was about learning that I deserve genuine love, protection, and respect. It was about realizing that family isn't just the ones you're born with, but those who choose to stand by you. And sometimes, to find the love of your life, you've got to stop accepting the scraps from people who never really appreciated you. Now, waking up next to Ethan with our dog curled up at our feet, I know all those struggles were worth it because they led me here. To him, to us, to peace.